So Terraria has 5,000 items now, and I honestly think that each one has its own genuine purpose. But with so many functionalities, there's bound to be some tomfoolery slipping through the cracks. Let me explain. Some Terraria items, on top of what they're supposed to do, have some additional hidden tech, if you will. Functionality that goes beyond the intended purpose of an item, which actually ends up being pretty useful. So today, I'm going to take a look at a handful of Terraria items with hidden utility tech, and give them a 1 through 10 rating on how useful that tech is for, practical use. Let's go. Alright, so the first item that I absolutely have to talk about is the Star Fury. So we all know the Star Fury is just a great weapon. It does great damage, you can get it super early game, it has the stars that you can control with your cursor. It's great. However, if you're ever mining and you really just don't know where you want to go, you don't want to miss anything, you can literally just swing the Star Fury into any nearby open caves and just discover everything. They get fully lit up so you can see exactly what's around. We have heart statues, we have amethyst over here, there's a gold chest there with a bunch of traps, there's another gold chest way over here. It honestly just feels like an infinite spelunker potion, which is kind of crazy if you're using it consistently enough. And this exact same mechanic is great for surface chests as well. If you're just walking the surface and you need to find like an aglet for the Terra Spark boots or something, you can swing this under the ground and just find chests, like right here. Bang! Wooden chest. And check it out, look what's in it. Okay, it's not an aglet, but like, hey, maybe you needed a boomerang, I don't know. The last thing for the Star Fury, I know we've all gone through the underground desert and found some rolling cactuses that like absolutely obliterate you and your family of 5. You can just break these with a Star Fury. Check that one out. Bang, gone. And if you just keep spamming this with any cave that you're about to enter, you can just delete them all. And now you don't worry about them at all. Light work. Like they never existed. It's so good. And they break the antlion eggs as well, so you can kill those off a lot easier. Overall, outside of being a weapon, the Star Fury is amazing with its hidden tech. The only downside is that it might not be useful the entire game, but it's still really great, so I'm gonna give this thing a 9 out of 10. Amazing item, goated weapon, goated everything. Round of applause. Alright, before we get on to the next item, I'm shooting for 10k subs soon, so if you enjoy the video, subscribe. Thanks a lot. Alright, let's move on to the next item, which is going to be platforms and their hoiking abilities. If you place a bunch of platforms up against a wall and hammer them, you can literally just, literally just walk through the wall. You've probably seen this before, but you can also throw projectiles through the platforms or shoot projectiles like guns or bows or whatever. It's really great. Great for keeping yourself safe from cover. I mean, look at that. There we go. I walk through the wall. Slime can't get to me. Smack it with my weapon. Beautiful. The other really great platform hoiking tech is if you hammer a block to look like one of these little corner, triangle, right angle things that's flat on the top and has the point on the bottom, right? And you block swap that out with a platform, this platform becomes literally just unwalkable. You just can't pass it unless you obviously jump. But what doesn't jump is stupid little enemies, right? So if you use this in like an Old One's army or any invasion really, but Old One's army is the most effective, it just blocks off any enemy from passing it. And like, look at this. Ogres are trembling at a single platform. Look at that. Final thing that we've probably all seen before, if you do the same platform tech right up against the door of the jungle temple, you can literally just breach it for free with a wooden hammer and wooden platforms. That's 1 tree worth of wood. You can get in here, you can loot the chest, kill the enemies, whatever. Overall, platforms, super goated item for the unintended tech. I think it's great, it's super useful in like a bunch of situations. So I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10 again. I'd give it a 10, but it's slightly too situational, and it doesn't really feel like I could live without it. Okay, next up is the Grappling Hook. Now when it comes to like all-around utility, this thing is the GOAT. Such an amazing item for mobility, an amazing item for bringing yourself to mine ores in caves, whatever, it's great. However, if you pair this with hoiks, you can literally just yank yourself through any block. Look at this. And bang. There we go. Now, if we're being honest, that isn't insanely useful, but there is light at the end of the tunnel for, grappling hook hidden tech. If you take your grappling hook and stick it to the side of a block, just like that, you can literally dig 1 block tunnels, which are genuinely double the speed of digging regular tunnels, so it's kind of insane if you're doing like speed running or if you just want to move through your world a little quicker. This is kind of goated. It also leaves like an untraceable, or like enemies can't follow you down, they can't drop down your pits or whatever. I think this is like the 19th year in a row that grappling hooks have received like most goated utility item of the year. In terms of hidden tech related stuff though, the grappling hook is pretty good. However, gotta give it its flowers, so we're gonna go with maybe a 7 out of 10 on this. I forgot to mention this, but it's really good for if your dungeon generates and you're not able to get through, you can use grappling hooks and hoiks to possibly squeeze into your dungeon. Pretty nice. Alright, next up we're going back to the mines, because I'm sure one of the resources that you see so much is cobwebs. And a lot of the time, there's not really that many uses for all the bits and pieces of cobweb that you collect. So, if you place down a loom in the early game, and you take all of the cobwebs that you just got, every 30 can be crafted into 1 white string. And you can see that this one has the violent modifier. Basically where I'm getting at with this is if you just keep spam crafting white strings, you can pretty much get whatever modifier you want. And I think probably the most useful one early game is warding. I mean, if you get this with like a wooden or cactus set of armor or whatever, that's like double, if not more than double the defense you already had, which is crazy. This can also nicely like fill in any of those weird pre-hard mode accessory gaps that you might have. Like this is probably better than like a hard radar that you found in a wooden chest. So yeah, there we go. There's warding. That was maybe like a few hundred cobwebs that it took to get there. I got pretty lucky, but you know, you can get whatever modifier you want. I'm a big fan of this one. At the end of the day, the white string, separately from being a yo-yo string, is like pretty good. Extra stat boost for free. I mean, using up your excess cobweb that you probably weren't going to use anyway. Great stuff. It could last a little bit longer because it's not that hard to get a bunch of accessories early game, but this can pretty nicely fill in some gaps that you might have had beforehand. I'm gonna go with a good 6 out of 10 on this one. So the 5th tech item we have for today is gonna be the golf ball. There it is on the little T. So if you take out your golf club and just smack this thing, your camera follows the ball, which means you can safely discover things that you haven't gone to yet. For example, the jungle. Now I know where my jungle is, and you know, I don't have to go all the way to the right side of my world to see that. An even more practical use of this is just smacking the golf ball straight up into the sky and just finding sky islands. Like if you take a tee and a ball and a club and just start placing it every, 100 blocks or so, smack it up in the air, bang, sky island. You can use that for all sorts of different discoveries, throwing it in caves, whatever. But there is a downside to this. To even get the gear to golf in the first place, you need to get all the way down into the underground desert and actually find the golfer. So at the end of the day, if you have the resources to go and get the golfer and get golfing gear and everything, you probably have the resources to just explore your world normally or find gravitation potions to find sky islands yourself. So as much as this one is cool, it's not the greatest. So I'm gonna go ahead and maybe say like 4 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 3.5, maybe. And that is going to be all the hidden tech we have for today. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and also check out one of the videos on the right. You'll probably enjoy that too. Thanks to the channel members on the left, of course. And I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.